How's it going here, and welcome back to another camera comparison video. And today I've got the Google Pixel 6 Pro, which is shooting this part of the video here, as well as the Galaxy S21 Ultra, which you can see here in my hand. And so now this is footage from the Galaxy S21 Ultra. You can see here the Pixel 6 Pro is in my hand. And for those of you who are wondering, the S21 Ultra that I have has the Snapdragon 888 and not the Exynos chipset. And so at the time of this recording, the Pixel 6 Pro hasn't even officially launched yet here in the US, but by the time you're watching this, it should already be in stores. And so if you're trying to decide for yourself if you should go with a Pixel 6 Pro because of all the hype around it, or if you should pick up a Galaxy S21 Ultra because it's been out for a while and it's much more familiar, hopefully this video helps you out if camera quality and camera performance is high on top of your list when buying a new smartphone. And so that's why I do these videos. I hope by showing you all the photos and videos that I do in the different lighting conditions and good light, harsh light, because we all don't shoot in perfect light conditions all the time, low light, nighttime shots. I hope this helps somebody out because that's the point of me doing these camera comparisons. I'm just trying to show you so you can decide for yourself which of these two camera systems might be best for you. And so take a look at all the photos and videos, let me know what you think, and hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Alright, so here's a rear camera video test with the Pixel 6 Pro and Galaxy S21 Ultra. As you can see right there, they are both recording from the rear facing cameras right now, starting out with the ultra wide angle camera on each. So again, this is 4K 30 frames per second, ultra wide angle camera, and Google's main claim to improvement here on the Pixel cameras has been video. So we're going to compare it here up against the S21 and see how much the video has really improved here. So again, ultra wide angle cameras here, nice day in the park, lots of things to focus on here. You can see the clouds. We have some actually nice clouds here, so you can make some definition out in those clouds as well. So this is how the ultra wide angle cameras compare here on each of the phones right now. So let's move into the main lens. So they're on the Pixel and on the Samsung right there. And let's go ahead and pan around so you can see how these main lenses look like here in this situation. And as I pan down, we can check the exposure on the sky. And the Pixel may be adjusting a little bit much, a little bit, blowing out just a tad maybe, but overall pretty good, I think, on both here. And let's go ahead and pan over to the right and we'll test zoom here on that cell tower like I normally do. And so we'll go with the telephoto lens here on the Pixel 6 Pro since that's new. 4 times optical zoom there. You can see kick in right there. And then we go into the 3 times telephoto lens on the S21 Ultra, which of course can go into a 10 times periscope zoom lens right there. So optical zoom 10 times on the S21. And let's try to move into about 10 times there on the Pixel 6 Pro. So that's how digital zoom on the Pixel 6 compares to the periscope zoom, optical zoom on the S21 Ultra. And the Pixel goes to a max 20 times digital zoom, and the S21 Ultra goes to a 20 times digital zoom as well. So that's how the digital zoom compares on each. Looks like the Pixel's a little bit more stable there, at least in the viewfinder right now. And let's go ahead and back both of these out to the main lens here. And we'll test autofocus here on the post, first with the Pixel. So really snappy autofocus there by the Pixel, and away. One more time. Focused up really quickly and refocused away. So pretty snappy autofocus here from the Pixel, and some pretty good looking natural background blur or bokeh with that larger sensor. And let's go ahead and move into the S21 Ultra, and a little bit slower to focus, but focused up, refocused away. One more time, there we go. Pretty snappy that time. And one last time with the S21, and also really nice natural background blur bokeh, also with that nice large sensor there. So let's go ahead and test stabilization as we walk down the stairs here in 4K, give it a feel for what that looks like here on both phones as I move down the path. And let's go ahead and stress out the stabilization by jogging here a little bit. So there you go, that's some 4K camera test on the Pixel 6 Pro and Galaxy S21 Ultra. Everyone, so this would be a front-facing video test from the Pixel 6 Pro and S21 Ultra. You can see they're both actively recording from the front-facing camera at 4K 30 frames per second. And so Google's made a pretty big deal about improving video here on the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro. So we're going to test out the front-facing video against the S21 Ultra here. And the Pixel 6 Pro has a speech enhancement feature which is turned on, which should reduce background noise and wind noise. So pay attention to the audio and how that compares here to the S21 Ultra. And so obviously I'm outdoors in some pretty even lighting conditions because I like to show you this so you see what both these front facing cameras do in some optimal lighting conditions in an outdoor environment. So this is producing the best possible footage that it can right now. And so I'll pan around to give you a feel for what it looks like as the lighting conditions change and how the exposure changes and all that. It's not the brightest day right now, not the most intense sunlight. The sun's kind of tucked away behind some clouds back there, but it is coming from that direction right there. So you can see what that looks like. I'll pan up into the sky so you can see what that looks like and how the exposure and the image quality and everything changes here because of that. And I'll keep panning around, so we'll end up back to where we started. And let's just walk to test some stabilization here to give you a feel for what it looks like here on both of these front-facing cameras. So let me know what you think. Do you think the Pixel 6 video looks improved, and how does that compare to the S21 Ultra to you? Let me know your thoughts. So here's some low light video from the Google Pixel 6 Pro and the Galaxy S21 Ultra. This is the ultra wide angle lens on each at 4K 30 frames per second to start out here. So as you can see, the S21 Ultra has a wider field of view, so it can fit more in the frame than the Pixel 6 Pro can. And let's go ahead and move into the main lenses here. So it's nice you can actually switch the lenses while actively recording So main lens on each, and as you can see, the picture brightened up on both cameras here because the main lens obviously lets in more light than the ultra wide angle camera does. And you can clearly see those trees in the skyline a lot more now with this main camera on each, so a lot more definition clearly stands out against that skyline there. So I'll pan around here with these main lenses to give you a feel for what that looks like here and how they compare and how they're actually doing into that really bright street light. The S21 Ultra is actually flaring that out a little bit more than the Pixel 6 Pro is as far as what I can see. Let's go ahead and pan this way and we'll start walking to test stabilization, as well as to move over into a much darker area here so we can see how these cameras do in a bit of a more challenging lighting situation, as obviously that was some pretty ideal light back there. And so also pay attention to the stabilization, if it's looking a little more jittery or not. That tends to happen in low light. And as you round the corner, it is definitely getting a lot darker, but as far as what I can see in the picture, they're both definitely brightening things up a lot, so it doesn't look that dark here in the video. Not nearly as dark as what I see with my own eyes right now, but you do see a lot more noise because of that. And so if I pan up into the sky, you can see it's a cloudy night. It's going to start pouring here pretty soon, so I want to get this video in, but that does give you something to look at. Instead of a pitch black night sky, you can see the clouds, see if you can make out any kind of definition in them with what these video cameras are doing here. As I pan this way, it's a bit of a mixed lighting situation, so it's a bit darker down this alleyway, but still some light. So a little bit of a mixed lighting situation there, and what that looks like here on both of these phones here in 4K. Offset against that cloudy skyline there. So let me what you think about this little light video here on the Pixel 6 Pro and S21 Ultra. Alright, so here's some low light video from the front facing cameras on the Pixel 6 Pro and Galaxy S21 Ultra. This is being recorded at 4K 30 frames per second, and I'm obviously outdoors in some pretty ideal lighting conditions here. I want to show you what these front facing cameras can do in the most optimal lighting conditions in a bit of low light here outdoors. And so as far as what I can see with my own eyes right now in the viewfinder, the Pixel 6 Pro has a slightly wider field of view than the S21 Ultra. And as far as color accuracy and color temperature, the Pixel 6 Pro, yes, it's warmer, but it is a warmer light out here. And so that's, to me, more color accurate than what the S21 Ultra is showing, which is a little bit more cooler in color temperature there. And so let's go ahead and start walking so we can test stabilization. And so we can see what that looks like here side by side. And I'll also be moving over to a much darker area so you can see how these front-facing cameras do in a bit more of a difficult lighting situation. I'll also be passing by a fountain to my right here so we can test out the microphones and see how they compete with the sound of my voice. And the Pixel 6 Pro has a speech enhancement capability, and that's turned on, so it should be blocking out more of that background noise and wind noise. So let me know how the audio is sounding compared to the S21 Ultra here. And so I'll pan this way so you can see the really bright street lights behind me and how each of these phones are doing. They're both flaring that out a bit, which is expected because they are really bright lights, and a little bit more flare on the S21 Ultra from what I can see. And so let's go ahead and move back over here to this darker area again. So you can see what this looks like here, directly side by side. And it's definitely darker than what these phones are showing here. They're both brightening things up a little bit more. And the Pixel 6 Pro definitely has a lot more noise from what I can see here. And so I think that's going to do it for this camera comparison. Let me know if you enjoyed all the photos and videos and what you thought, which one you preferred and why. Personally, I prefer the Pixel 6 Pro. I still like it for photos, and I think photography got even better, capturing even more detail. So I think for photos, I still give it to Pixel. And for video, let me know what you thought, because Google made a very big deal about improving video here on the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro. And the main thing I noticed is that the colors are now more boosted, a lot more saturated, they're a lot more muted, and actually closer to reality and what you would normally see with your own eyes on previous Pixels. So to me, that's the one thing that stood out on the video. Colors got a lot more boosted here, but do let me know what you thought, if they've improved the video. I think a lot of people might like those boosted colors, so they might say yes, but let me know what you thought, if you think Google has really pushed the boundary and really improved the video enough for you personally. And so I think those are just my initial thoughts. I'll keep using them, and I'll probably have more detailed thoughts as I do more of these camera comparisons, especially with the 6 Pro. And so drop me a comment, let me know not only which one you thought you liked better and why, but also if you have any other questions about either of these phones that I can help personally answer. I'll try to answer what I can. And as always, thanks for watching.